Well, thanks everyone for coming to today's meeting. I truly appreciate it. I feel as if we work effectively as a team. And my father taught me that team is an acronym for together each accomplishes more. And I truly believe that. So in American history, we are firing up the time machine. We're very excited, the students are excited. We're looking for a way to tie into your curriculums, your disciplines. And so we need your ideas. How can we make this something that not only is effective in our history class, but also supports the great things that you're doing each and every day? What ideas do you have?
You know, I love this idea of the time machine. Is there a way that we can incorporate more women and minorities?
You know, that's a great question, and the answer is absolutely yes. And we're thinking of bringing back King George III so he can share his perspective about the colonies and how he feels they're ungrateful. And we're going to bring back some patriots so they can share their perspectives on why they don't like the king and all these taxes that they feel are unnecessary. But you're right, we should probably be highlighting the women who fought so diligently and minorities. Because if we're going to be successful in this war, it's going to take all of us. So that's a great point.
I like what you brought up about women and minorities, and I love to hear what you're saying about the Revolutionary War and the individuals you're going to touch on. With all of the work that the district has put into developing benchmarks and learning targets, you guys all have the book. If you'd open it up to the blue section, and Unit 5 is just beautiful with the way it will tie in with this. From what you've mentioned, we're going to hit all of those benchmarks 1 through 4, and especially benchmark 3, which discusses the individual roles of lesser known and also the more historical, the larger, more important figures such as, King George III. And I believe I heard too, you're going to have the Daughters of Liberty in this as well?
That's our hope, yes.
Okay, and that's just fabulous. So I'm very happy to see that you're taking this project and you are tying it in with the district benchmarks and learning targets. That's great.
I really love this idea of the time machine. I think it's wonderful, and as an ILA teacher, we're always thinking of new ways to present information to the students versus the same ideas as far as note-taking and reading to them, and to be able to get them involved is something that I really love to do.
All these youngins, look at all these youngins right here. They all love me.
Is that what you think?
Yes.
Do you really think they love you?
They love King George III.
I had heard from that squat little man that all of you students wrote letters to King George. Is that correct?
Yes.
Did you write those letters?
Yes.
Would you like me to read one of those letters?
Yes.
Do you want to hear that, King George?
Yes, start praising me. Start praising me.
I happen to have one right here. It says, "My not so dear King George.
What kind of start is that?
Your taxes are unfair, short-sighted, and the acts of a pitiful man."
Pitiful man.
Currently, we are studying Shakespeare, and I'm trying to think of ways that we can take Shakespeare and put him into the time machine and have him come alive for the students as well, so they are going to be able to see a new perspective on Shakespeare and to be able to learn from this as well as maybe see it in a whole new light. I guess with the Revolutionary War, thinking back again, I am more ILA focused, but King George III, the Patriots, the colonists, there's a lot of insults around that. And if you think of Shakespeare and you think of the Shakespearean insults, how could we incorporate all of that into the time machine?
That's fantastic. And if you can get me a list of some of those Shakespearean insults, I think the Patriots might be able to deliver them directly to the king himself.
Yeah, you frothy elf-skin bum Bailey!
And isn't there some famous quote All the World's a Stage. Am I remembering that right?
Yes, you are correct. It is from the As You Like It, the play, and that it's interesting that you mentioned that because we are actually working specifically on that play right now, and where all the world is a stage, the men, the women, and within that we're working on how we infer, predict, and how you can interpret that stage. And as Shakespeare has shown us, there's 7 different stages. Again, thinking of the time machine, how could we maybe incorporate those 7 stages or incorporate those insults as they are more directly linked to King George III?
Well, the actors are definitely going to be on a stage in front of the students, and they're going to be making their entrances and their exits. And so I think if you get me that quote, I will ask one of the actors if they'll make it a part of their dialogue.
Well said, ladies. That sounds simply Shakespearean. It's a shame that if we have to have an Englishman ruling us, we can't have an intelligent, creative one like William Shakespeare.
Are you able to quote Shakespeare? Perhaps a line or two that speaks to our situation?
I might reckon I could get a line out. As You Like It, Act 2, Scene 7. All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players.
And maybe making a reference to it during the time machine will allow you to follow up the next day in more detail as to what that means and where it can be found and kind of the rest of the story. Does that sound like it would work?
I think that's
The time
fabulous.
machine is an excellent idea, and I agree that the time machine is a wonderful idea for all students. Specifically, I think it really helps our ELL students who have a difficult time with the language. It bridges that language gap to where they can enter the world and communicate through nonverbal cues, through acting and all of that sort of thing. I think there's a lot of different things that we can do with that. What about specifically vocabulary? Is there any ideas that you have for vocabulary? What type of vocabulary words are you planning on focusing on?
You know, I like that. I can get you a list of our vocabulary terms, and just off the top of my head, I'm thinking of militia, Minuteman.
There's your tea. And remember, if I have to put down this shovel to pick up my musket, I will do it to fight your filthy lobster backs. And I will do it at a minute's notice. I will be a minute man.
And so we could actually have that whole concept come to life for the students. And then when we give them the definition on the board, they'll actually have a visual representation of what it means to be a Minuteman.
Absolutely, I think that's a great idea. Anytime that we can get our students, all students involved in the classroom in an active way, that helps out wonders, specifically when we're trying to teach them those definitions, those vocabulary words. It will help them to have firsthand knowledge of those vocab words.
The Time Machine allows you to role-play anyone, real or fictional, from the past, present, or even future. Local personalities or distant dignitaries, lesser known or more famous individuals, and all other possible combinations. Role-playing important individuals from your content area takes learning from the third person to the first person. Imagine several patriotic colonists instructing your students or a character from your favorite novel. How about a celebrated scientist or mathematician? The possibilities are truly endless. The Time Machine, simply put, breathes life into all content areas. I begin by meeting with colleagues, parents, friends, or anyone else willing to share ideas, provide insights, research, write scripts, perform, gather materials, or help in any other way. All assistance, no matter how minor, is beneficial and greatly appreciated. The Time Machine performance is not only entertaining and memorable, it is also a unique method for tying into your local, state, and federal standards.
Let's take a look at the DPI state standard relating to this area. B.8.6 states analyzed important political values such as freedom, democracy, equality, and justice embodied in documents such as, and this is what gets me excited, the Declaration of Independence. I have a copy of the Declaration. And what if I were to bring that into my classroom during the time machine performance? And if I were to role play the king, I can imagine myself getting to the part where it says, all men are created equal. And I begin to laugh, because if I'm role playing the king, I don't see my subjects, which would be my students, equal to me. And it goes on to say that you have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And if I'm role playing the king, I might say, really, students? You think that you can pursue your happiness? I'll tell you what it is you're going to do for a living. I'll tell you where you're going to live, and you'll like it. So we can have a lot of fun with that, and if it works, I can see the students being pretty patriotic, saying, you know what? We are equal, and we can pursue our freedom because we're Americans.
In the next video, I will provide you with several ideas on how to build and design your own time machine. However, here now, following several planning sessions and rehearsals, are events leading up to the American Revolutionary War, from multiple perspectives, including King George III and the American Patriots.
Students! Today's active learning strategy is entitled The Time Machine. Are you ready?
Yeah!
Let's do this. The beauty of a time machine is I don't have to simply go back to one particular time. I can take my camera along and I can show you a few stops along the way. And maybe I'll play those up on the television and you can watch it as I go. How's that sound?
Great.
Well, let's begin the time machine by switching on the reactor. And it's working. Now let's try the time portal. And it's blinking. Students, I'm going to go back to the time of the American Revolutionary War. I'm going to ask King George III himself to come through this time portal. I'm also going to ask several American patriots to come through the portal. I don't know what's going to happen. My greatest fear is that my molecules will be spread over an infinite distance, unable to be reassembled, and I will be lost to the ages. But you know what? If they come forth and they share their stories, I think it's all worth it. Hopefully I'll be back, and I'll be back soon. You want to wish me luck?
Good luck!
Thank you.
Greetings, young colonial children. I am the royal court jester for the mighty King George III. Join with me and bow your heads in respect as my master, as well as your master, exits the time machine. I believe that's what the squat little man from the future called it. Bow your heads. Show some respect, you ungrateful, dirty colonials. I'm sure you're still connected to Britain. Quick, here he comes. Bow your heads. Bow your heads.
Bloody well strange in here. This does not look like England. Oh! And that certainly isn't the mother country's flag. It bloody well isn't. I apologize, my subjects. I have to put the royal hanky over my nose because I can smell rebellion in the air. And I don't like the smell of rebellion. It smells in here. Court Jester, I would like you to dance for me. Dance for me! You know, that squat little man from the future, I think his name was Mr. Wittmann. He told me that I should talk about my feelings. And at the risk of sounding grandiloquent, I might just say this. I was feeling rather copacetic. It was almost as if I was in a perfect state of harmony. I had no cares and no concerns. And then he asked me to come to America. Some of the patriots are complaining about paying their taxes. I just don't think they understand why. So I'm going to explain it to all of you very slowly so you understand it. It's a system called mercantilism. Can you say mercantilism? Mercantilism. Yes. The main goal of mercantilism is that a country wants to have a favorable balance of trade. More exports than imports. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Now, how can I export more products? I need more resources. And when you pay your taxes, I can pay my soldiers. I can give them supplies, like muskets. And I can build ships with cannons. And they can go out and they can conquer new lands. Which means new colonies for King George III. And that means more resources to build more products for more exports. And I'm going to become the richest king in all of the world. Dance for me, court jester, dance for me. Stop! Maybe what I should do is show you one of my coffers filled with coins. I would like you to hold the royal hanky. Put it on my nose, thank you. When you pay your taxes, it goes into my coffers. So I want you to pay your tax on tea. And pay your tax on sugar. And glass and lead and paper. And don't complain about it. Dance for me, court jester. Lay down, I want to step up. I want to step up. Now, just like all of you like me, back in my time, they all like me as well. Court Jester, you can have a seat.
Ah, it smells glorious in here. I love it. I love it. Woo-wee! I just love that smell of America. Wait a minute. The smell ain't quite so pleasant down yonder. Could it be it's King George III? Who asked you to come here? But before I address this unwashed, disgusting hog of a man, let me talk to you young whippersnappers. My name is William Raymond Davis, born and raised, but y'all can call me Billy Ray. I hail from colonial Georgia. I'm a merchant. I sell necessities, things that people need, things that people have to make their living. Now recently, King George and his filthy lobster backs have made it hard for people like me to make their living. He's put a tax on just about everything. The tax that makes me the most angry, makes me foam at the mouth and seethe with anger, is that dreaded Stamp Act. Now, if mine eyes aren't failing me, this here looks like a newspaper. If this were a newspaper from my time, it looked a little bit different, but wait a minute. President? Y'all have a president around these parts? Not a king? Like a leader elected by the people, for the people? Is that true? Yes. Wow, that's a glorious idea.
That's a terrible idea. It smells in here.
The foul odor is y'all! Anyway, as I was saying, the king has put a tax on my recreation. He's put a tax on playing cards and dice. He's put a tax on my education, my buying a newspaper and learning about the happenings. And he's even put a tax on wills. Now, do any of you young whippersnappers know what a will is? Yeah. Glorious. Now, I have kind of a sad story to tell, so if you wouldn't mind comforting me on the back, if I kind of tear up a little bit, I really appreciate it. Now, about 3 months ago, my poor mother passed away. God bless her soul. Thank you. She didn't have quite enough money to pay the tax on the will, so the king is trying to take all our property. My 3 brothers and 14 sisters ain't gonna have no place to go.
Oh, my Court Jester, that's such a sad story.
Do not bestow your false sympathies upon me and my family. It is you who are taking this away from me. It is you putting all these taxes on me and my fellow colonists. From my backwoods in Georgia all the way up to colonial Massachusetts. We all angry with you.
Oh, I can assure you, you are the only one who feels this way.
I can assure you, King George, I am not the only one who feels this way.
Where are my fellow Bostonians? Well, hello, children. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for allowing me to come. My name is Crispus Attucks, and I've been informed that there have been several disturbances in and around the Boston area. As a matter of fact, it is March 5th, 1770, and I am heading toward the Customs House off of King Street. I hear that's where they collect our taxes and count our money, and I'm very angry about this. Where does all of our tax money go? In his pocket. And this makes me very angry that this royal tyrant keeps picking our pockets. But I must go now. I don't know what would happen, if anything, but I do know we deserve much better than this. And I ask that we ask ourselves, if we're truly honest with one another, that we will learn from this example, and as well not to enslave one another.
Well, I can assure you, you're the only two who feel this way. The rest of them love me.
does not look like home.
It does not look like home at all. Where are we? I'm gonna go ask one of these
Sounds like a great idea.
kids here. Excuse me, sir. What state are we in?
Wisconsin. What? Wisconsin? Wisconsin?
Wisconsin.
How sweet. That kind of has a luscious sound to it. I kind of like it.
It does.
Smells good over here too.
Do you smell that? Oh, that smells so wonderful. We are still in America.
Wait. Something smells terrible over here.
Cartchester, put your arms down! Put your arms down!
What is that putrid stench?
Close your mouth! Close your mouth!
It's King George III. No, it's King George III.
Should we get him right now?
No. Calm down. Calm down. We will have plenty of time to get him later. I am Mark Hobbs, and I am a hard-working farmer. I am a humble, hard-working farmer. And I do not make trouble unless trouble is made unto me.
And I am Master Daniels, and I own an inn. You see, I like to serve tea to my guests, but with these heavy taxes on tea, I cannot afford to serve it. Do you young bugaboos know where Mr. Hobbs and I were before this time thingamajig grabbed us and brought us here? We were in Boston Harbor, December 16th, 1773.
Yeah, and you see there were 3 ships carrying scads of tea.
The people went crazy because we knew the tea had a tax. Then someone shouted, "Boston Harbor, a tea party tonight!"
Boston Harbor, a tea party tonight! Boston Harbor, a tea party tonight! Everyone, why don't you guys all say it with us? Boston Harbor, a tea party tonight!
Cartchester, don't say it!
There was an outrage, an uproar. It was marvelous. We took all of your specialty and dumped it into the harbor. Turned the whole thing round, we did. King George III, you want your precious tea?
You want your tea? You want your tea? Here, take some more, man.
This one's for that bloody tax. Let me load you up.
Take this. There's your tea. And remember, if I have to put down this shovel to pick up my musket, I will do it to fight your filthy lobster bags. And I will do it at a minute's notice. I will be a minute man.
And I suppose next you're going to tell me that the women are upset with me too.
As a matter of fact, they are.
No taxation without representation. No more kings.
Scares me.
No taxation without representation. No more kings. No taxation without representation. No more kings.
Ladies, this is not the cobblestone street we were just marching down in colonial America.
You're right. This is strange. I told you we shouldn't have trusted that squat little man who told us to step into the time portal.
And look at this machine, so marvelous and scary. Excuse me, young lad, could you be so kind as to tell us the name of your town?
Menasha.
Menasha? What a lovely name for a town!
Can you tell me what century this is?
The 21st.
21st century?
Do you mean it's not the 18th century anymore?
Well, it smells absolutely scrumptious here in Menasha. You must not have any kings ruling here.
You know, ladies, this might not be so bad. Look at all these young'uns. Someone might be willing to help us.
Wait a minute. Wait, just one bloody moment. What is that horrible smell?
Oh, the offensive odor. It seems to be getting worse over here.
Did you take a bath?
Oh, it smells like something died.
It smells like a small squirrel who's had its head squished by a wagon wheel. Ah, that's what it is! It's King George III! We have a few things to discuss with you. But first, we shall be proper, ladylike, and introduce ourselves to these fresh-faced lads. My name is Goody Proctor, and I hail from New Hampshire. I'm the wife of a humble but charming butler, and although I love him dearly, my most important thing in life is to be a member of the Daughters of Liberty.
My name is Goody Bower, and I'm married to a brave silversmith. He is also a patriot, but you do not want to make my husband angry. He doesn't like it when people try to take away his or other people's freedom.
I'm Goody Gordon. These three ladies are my dear friends. I lost my husband several years ago in sickness, but I know that he would support me in what I'm doing. What am I doing? I am a proud member of the Daughters of Liberty. We do whatever we can to boycott and protest the horrible, unfair, and ridiculous taxes that this excuse for a man passes.
As you can see, young lads, my sign says it all. No taxation without representation. If that thing, that king, will not give us a say in our government, he shouldn't tax us either. We will fight to get our say.
My sign says boycott. We won't buy anything the king sells because of his bloody, dreaded taxes. We will even make our own clothes. Excuse me, young miss, could you be as kind to come up here?
Don't be bashful.
Isn't this a pretty dress? Why, yes, it is. You may touch the fabric if you like. It's very soft. Thank you.
Thank you kindly. You may be seated now.
I made it all by myself using cotton and wool. And that's not all. We will even make our own tea using raspberry leaves. We'll march, we'll protest, and the unmarried Daughters of Liberty won't let anyone but patriots court them. I think in the future you call it going out with?
And my sign says, repeal the taxes! We won't rest until the king repeals or cancels all unfair taxes. My family of 6 can barely eat with all the money you take from us. You have no right to pick our pockets.
Yes, let's make one thing perfectly clear. We will defeat you. We will fight you to the death. The men, the women, even the children if necessary, we will defeat you. That's right, I bite my thumb at you.
I bite both my thumbs at you. You hear me? I bite both my thumbs at you.
Yeah, you frothy elf-skin bum Bailey!
Well said, ladies. That sounds simply Shakespearean. It's a shame that if we have to have an Englishman ruling us, we can't have an intelligent, creative one like William Shakespeare.
Are you able to quote Shakespeare? Perhaps a line or two that speaks to our situation?
I might reckon I could get a line out. As you like it, Act 2, Scene 7. All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. Yes, sir, that William Shakespeare is one intelligent, creative man, not like this King George. Down with the king!
Boo!
Stop it! I've heard enough. I suppose next you're going to tell me that the children are angry with me too.
Why, you dirty king! Hi, my name is Little Billy, and I really like my blueberry pie. But see, he put a tax on sugar. I think he calls it the Sugar Act. And now, my mom can't afford to make me my blueberry pie. I don't like you, King George III.
I think I just got sick in my mouth. Poor child.
How dare you, you small little child! You don't like me, well I don't like you because you're going to grow up to be an angry patriot. Now get! Get!
Oh, horrible. I wish the town crier were here. He could tell us with his lovely voice how unfair you are. Where is that town crier?
Oh, there it goes again. Those lights.
Sounds like it's bound.
Hear ye! Hear ye! Hear ye! Hear ye! Let all who have ears hear my voice! The petition to the king for the repeal
new tax on tea!
Another one? Terrible!
When will this tax tyranny end, King George? When?
It'll never end. This is outrageous. It's bloody well outrageous. The town crier is angry. The ladies are angry. The colonial children, of course, the patriots. But it doesn't matter, because at least in the future, my legacy is secure. At least in the future, all these youngins, look at all these youngins right here. They all love me.
Is that what you think?
Yes.
Do you really think they love you?
They love King George III.
I had heard from that squat little man that all of you students wrote letters to King George. Is that correct?
Yes.
Did you write those letters?
Yes.
Would you like me to read one of those letters?
Yes.
Do you want to hear that, King George?
Yeah, start praising me. Start praising me.
I happen to have one right here. It says, "My not so dear King George.
What kind of start is that?
Your taxes are unfair, short-sighted, and the acts of a pitiful man." Pitiful man. I am a colonial patriot and will speak simply and clearly. I will not beat around the bush.
You shouldn't beat around the bush. Now start praising me.
I won't be grandiloquent. I'm sure that you understand the word grandiloquent, don't you, dear King George III? It's defined as being pompous or extravagant in your language, style, or manners. Why must you always try to impress us with your words, dear King George? Let me skip down. So, those are a few of our grievances. If you do not change your ways, we will be forced to free ourselves from your brutality. On a personal note, being the resourceful person I am, you know, children, that resourceful is defined as having the ability to find clever and quick solutions to overcome difficulties. Being the resourceful individual I am, I have come up with another use for your gold crown. When I meet you, I'm going to put it right in your nose.
That's enough. Court jester, I want to get down. Court jester, I want to get down. I've heard enough. I'm being mistreated.
What are you doing? Oh! You treat him like a filthy animal.
I don't treat him like an animal. I treat him like a colonial. Oh. I think that you're all lower than a snake's belly in a wagon rut. Oh. And you know what makes me the most angry? That precious little document that you wrote. What do you call it?
The Declaration of Independence!
And who wrote that document?
Thomas Jefferson!
I have an idea. Let me show you what I think of your precious little document, your Declaration of Independence. Come on, follow me.
Hey!
Stay away from there.
What are you gonna do?
I suppose you wonder what I'm going to do with your precious Declaration of Independence.
Well, yes, as a matter of fact, we are.
What a strange illumination. So bright. There's no candle. Oh, well, anyway. I love this line. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created what?
Equal!
And that you have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of what?
Happiness!
I want you to imagine this. I want you to imagine a farmer and a child equal to a mighty king.
You are, in fact, equal to your.
I should listen.
Equal.
Equal. You know what I think of your precious little document? Hold the royal hanging! Court jester, hold it!
Yes! It's disgusting!
Here's what I think of it.
have children.
Careful! That's royal snot! Your hand's never been worse so much.
Ew!
Ow!
Ew!
Ah!
I think the time for words is over, King George. If you won't listen to our words, maybe you'll listen to the strength and the passion of Butchie the blacksmith.
Yeah! Butchie the blacksmith! Come on out, Butchie!
Come on, Butchie. I don't want no trouble! I don't want any trouble! I am a reasonable man! I want no trouble! I do not want to cause a ruckus on anybody! But I've had it! I've had it with that king! I had it with him! Oh, let me collect myself here first. Be proper here and introduce myself. My name is Blacksmith Butchie, and I'm tired of the way the king has treated me and me family. Yeah! Yeah! Yes. Although I gotta say, you future colonists look a lot better off than us back in colonial America. A little small. You there? Will you please stand to your feet? Let's see here what we got here. Little small. Perhaps I could bring you back to colonial America, and you could be my apprentice. Of course, you'd be my little itty-bitty apprentice, that's for sure. You may sit. Right. I didn't come here to find no apprentice, though. I came here to tell you how furious I am with King George. Do you know that not so long ago, I left me shop and me home to the neighboring town to sell horseshoes. And upon my arrival, when I returned, I had found that me home and me shop had been burnt to the ground by those filthy redcoats! Yeah! They're careless! They had actually burnt me shop down with one of me own candles. That's right, because they're careless. I have no place to work, no place for me craft. I have nothing to do anymore because of the irresponsibility of the redcoats. That doesn't get my goat the most, though. What's worse is the dreadful quartering act. That's right. That's right. Right, the quartering act. You know, where we have to allow the soldiers, the redcoats, to enter our homes, and there's nothing we can say about it. Yeah, it's not fair. Nothing. Right. When they were there, they insulted me wife and me daughter.
No! The child!
Not right. Child. They told me that my wife was going to forever be a servant to the crown.
No!
Can you imagine that? Forever a servant to the crown? Inconceivable. Oh my goodness gracious! That wasn't the worst thing. The worst thing is when you insult a man's daughter. That's right. My 2-year-old daughter with big, beautiful blue eyes, just like the sky. And her hair is golden like the sunset. And they had the nerve to say that she was a dirty little bunny rabbit! Oh! Bunny rabbit! Oh! Bunny rabbit! Oh, this makes me so upset. That's why back in colonial America, when I get upset, I tend to me work. I work into the wee hours of the morning to let my frustration out in a healthy way. If there was some sort of table here that I could work on to let me frustration out, that would be great. Like this! This! Right here! Yes! Yes, this will do! Yes! I'm so tired of the filthy redcoats. Oh, I wish they'd leave me alone! I wish they'd leave me family alone! I wish they'd leave me daughter alone! Yeah! All the colonials! I just want me freedom! I think it's time for us to make an exit, don't you? Oh, I'm hungry! I want you to feed me a grape! Feed me a grape! Yeah! Oh, no!
lovely children. I do wonder, what are your lives like today? How do you learn? How do you communicate? How do you entertain yourselves? Do you still like to dance?
Oh, good question.
Great.
Good question.
One of you
yeah.
like to come up and show me how to dance to your futuristic music?
Wonderful suggestion.
Oh, yes.
That was absolutely amazing. Speaking of amazing, it would be an amazing idea if we could break away from Great Britain, because anything else would mean no liberty for us.
Oh, beautiful, for spacious skies, for amber waves of gray, for purple mountains' majesty, above the fruited plain.
I hope this is America. Am I in America?
Yeah.
I made it back. Oh. Students, I have some stories to share with all of you. That was an amazing journey. Did King George III make it here?
Yes.
He didn't want to go through the time portal. Did the Patriots come through?
Yeah.
The Daughters of Liberty?
Yeah.
Crispus Attucks?
Yeah.
Small Child? What about Blacksmith Butchie?
Yeah.
They all made it?
Yeah.
They shared their perspectives?
Yeah.
Did they see the Declaration of Independence?
Yeah.
Awesome. Did King George III see the Declaration of Independence?
Yeah.
Did he drop to his knees and worship it?
No.
Not so much? Well, let me tell you what I saw as I walked around the colonial streets of early America. It was truly breathtaking.
If you can imagine it, you can achieve it with the Time Machine. In Strategy 33, I will provide you with a sampling of some possible options using the Teachingrocks Time Machine concept. This Making Connections moment will be short and to the point. When I work with student teachers, a major concern they have is classroom management. I tell them techniques such as merit folders, pyramids of intervention, charts of expectations, and so much more are helpful. But I also remind them that the best classroom management system is quite simply a great lesson plan. If our students are engaged, they are learning and acting properly as well. Again, the best classroom management system is quite simply a great lesson plan.